welcome. We are going to talk about some Star Wars today.
Yeah,
Yay!
Rogue One.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Adam.
We're the Golden Age Gamers. We are going to talk Star Wars Rogue One. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. That's how they titled it. Yes. First of all, I want to let you guys know that I really enjoyed this movie. This first couple minutes is just going to be spoiler free. We are going to talk a lot of spoilers later on, but just want to let you know ahead of time before you listen to the rest of this and get into spoilers that I love this movie, and I think you did too.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic film.
Like, this is my second favorite Star Wars movie besides, I think Empire Strikes Back's a little bit better, but that's just me saying that. That's just my personal opinion. This is second on the list, and then it goes Force Awakens for me.
Right.
What about you?
I'm going to have to disagree with you.
Yeah, okay. But you at least liked it a lot.
I did like it. I thought it was better than the prequels.
Okay. Oh, yeah, well, that's not saying much.
I can't put it over any of the other ones.
Okay.
So that's where it ranks for me.
Okay. But it's still a great movie.
Just because I think all three of the originals are just...
They're good.
Just good. They're just that good.
Yeah.
Not to say Rogue One was bad. I mean, Rogue One was
It's very different.
Fan-tucking-fastic.
Yeah, it's a very different movie compared to the other Star Wars movies that have come out recently.
And it was hard to digest it at first. It was very, very hard.
Yeah.
To figure out, after I left the theater, I'm like, where do I place this at?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It? Because I kept comparing it to Revenge of the Sith. That's the one where it was neck and neck. I'm like, who? But then what put me over was Darth Vader's.
Yeah.
What put me over. I'm like,
he's in the movie, and obviously you guys know he's in the movie because he is shown in the trailers, if you've seen him.
Ever so slightly.
He's in it very briefly. He's in the movie a lot more than that. I was very surprised by how much he was in it. In a good way.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end. But yeah, we're going to let you know right now, 2 minutes in, that the whole spoiler talk is going to happen now. So just a heads up, before we go any further, please note that there will be spoilers.
We'll give you guys like a 20-second grace period here.
Yeah.
Just so
spoilers alert.
Just a warning. We are going to start talking about spoilers. If you don't want to hear any of this, click out, go see the movie,
and then come
back.
Because I think we have some different opinions, and I think that's going to be really interesting to talk about.
All right. So right now we're beginning spoilers.
2.5 minutes in, spoilers.
3, 2, 1. All right.
Let's go.
Yep.
Boom.
All right.
So we did discuss this in the car briefly. I personally did not like the first 20 minutes of this whole movie. I thought they could have just lifted that out and made it a 2-hour-long movie. Would have been happy.
Yeah, I agree. The first 20 minutes telling Jin's story, I mean, I get it. You kind of had to do it. But,
they were very dry, I think is the nicest way of saying it. It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't very interesting at all. I was kind of bored.
Yeah, her origin story was kind of a letdown.
It makes sense.
Suspense. Yeah, but
it seems like it's shoehorned in there, doesn't it? Like, we have to have this character that makes sense to have in it. Because she needs to have a part in this whole thing.
Yeah. And
it can't just be some random person, which I would have liked better.
I think, like you said, they could have told that easily through the flashback in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, there was
her whole story.
I think about 45 to 50 minutes or so into the movie, she's having a dream, and it's a flashback of all the stuff that's happened. And honestly, that told everything. It's like, why wasn't that just the start of the whole movie and boom, done, we're good. But besides that, there weren't too many things that I didn't care for. What about you? I thought I'd get the negatives out of the way first and then go into all the
negatives. All right. My negatives.
CGI.
No, the CGI I'm gonna mark up as a positive.
Okay.
So we'll get. At least I'm gonna.
That was a little jarring for me on Tarkin, since the actor had passed away about 2 decades ago. It was a little jarring for me, but besides that, I didn't really care because it looked so fantastic that you could barely tell.
Well, that shows you how much the industry itself has just evolved. So, like,
even in the last 10
amazing.
to 15 years.
Now, I want to give my 2 cents on that.
Okay.
I mean, even so, it looks better than that 1 second he's in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Looking out there. I mean, you don't see his face, but you see the side shot.
Yeah.
But I don't want Hollywood to make this a habit at all.
No.
These actors have been dead for 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Let them be in their own time period, don't bring them back.
This was an exception.
I will. Yeah, there are exceptions. Yeah. There are exceptions can be made, and I agree with this. I loved seeing Peter Cushing's likeness in the movie. You might as well give him a film credit. Yeah, almost to a point.
They probably should have.
He was in it a lot more than I thought he was. A lot more. Yeah, he was in a good amount of it. He was almost in it the whole thing, almost.
Yeah, I mean, his total time on screen is probably 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
he was on it for a lot.
I'm glad though.
Well, because him and Krennic are going at it.
Yeah, and that's where I lead into a negative.
There. Okay.
I felt there was too much of Peter Cushing. Yeah. Because I did not give two shits about Krennic. I
didn't either.
He wasn't. I think in showing off the Tarkin, Peter Cushing, I think that devalued Krennic, and I didn't care about it. It
took away from him.
It didn't.
He wasn't like the big bad guy because you knew someone was above him.
Yeah.
You knew Tarkin was above him.
I thought the Darth Vader scenes with him were fine.
Yeah.
But I think Tarkin overshadows him so much because Tarkin's a famous Star Wars villain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who cares about Orson Krennic? Where the hell did he come from? You know.
I didn't care about him at all.
You know,
the original.
And I think that was one of the big negatives.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the villain. My second negative, there wasn't, and I get this because there's only technically one Jedi in the movie. There wasn't much saber play.
Yep.
On Vader's part.
Yep.
That's a big negative for me.
The ending was amazing. That was, I mean, my mouth was open.
Oh, you're talking about him cutting up the...
Yeah. So spoiler, obviously we've said spoilers, but I want to make this clear. Yeah. Spoiler, Darth Vader's in the end of the movie and murders like 20 rebel soldiers, and it is phenomenal.
Yeah, but they dangle that right in front of your face, and all you want is more, and you can't have more.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Read the books.
Yeah. Read the Darth Vader Marvel comics, and you will be satisfied.
Those are good, and there's a Darth Vader book.
Yeah,
there's a book just on Darth Vader about him after. It's in between, I think, 3 and 4.
Yes,
I think that's when the book is set, and it's so good because Emperor Palpatine sends him somewhere to kill more Jedi, and it's from Darth Vader's perspective, which is awesome. I own the book. I need to read it. I'm kind of slacking on all the books I need to read lately, but I mean. From the little bit I've read of it, it was awesome. And I've read very good reviews online as well for it. What else?
As far as negatives go,
anything else?
Not too much else. I do have one, I think.
Donnie Yen was the Jedi.
Donnie Yen,
right?
I think he called Malbus the Guardian. I thought Malbus was a former Jedi Guardian.
I thought it was him, and here's the only reason why. His staff has part of a lightsaber at the top. Did you notice that? It looked like a lightsaber cut in half, where it had like the metal rings on the very top. That was awesome. And he used the Force. He was the only person using the Force. Alright, so there's a part in the movie where the rebels attack an Imperial base in the mountains. Donnie Yen is there, and this is the first time you really see him use the weapon as a weapon itself other than just a stick, which as a stick itself is awesome, right? He uses it kind of like Avatar from the Last Airbender, and it's badass. But there's a very specific part in there where there's a TIE fighter going after, I think, X-Wing, and he takes his hand and he blows into... did you notice this? He blows into his hand something which I think is supposed to be the Force. He gathers the Force in his hand, throws it in his weapon, pops out the side so it looks like a crossbow, and shoots a laser out of it, which implies that there is a kyber crystal in his staff. It was amazing. He shoots down a TIE fighter with the Force.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yep, that is the coolest thing I've probably ever seen ever up until that point. That was amazing because you're like, Donnie Yen's so friggin' cool.
Yeah,
like
he stole the show.
He's so
Donnie
good.
Yen stole the show.
And I didn't expect that. I thought it was just going to be like a blaster rifle, right? With just like a regular laser. No, he blows like the Force into his hand, like magically throws it into his staff, and it's like pew pew, and the thing blows up. And you're like, all right, I'm sold. This movie's great. So I personally think he's the Jedi. Plus, that necklace that Jin's wearing, that's a kyber crystal. Which a lot of people aren't going to realize. That's why that's so important. Plus, her mom was wearing Jedi robes. She had the Jedi tunic on, which implies that her mom was a Jedi, former Jedi. right? I mean, that's what else could she be wearing besides the Jedi tunic? And she gives her the crystal, the kyber crystal, and says, like, may the Force be with you, the Force guides you, or trust in the Force. That's what it was. And I'm like, well, her mom's a Jedi, so clearly she's supposed to be a Jedi.
Yeah, wouldn't she have had her old lightsaber, though?
Not she abandoned it or lost it. I mean, they didn't say. But that's what I'm guessing. She
gave
up that old life.
We're not going to delve into all the fanfic of that, but...
Oh, we could, but...
We'd be here a long time.
But I definitely think her mom was a Jedi, so I think there were kind of two Jedis. It was her and Donnie Yen's character. I always forget his name. I feel bad. Yeah. I don't remember what his name is. No. I'm sorry.
I'm going to go buy the pop figure as soon as I find it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to buy the action figure, because he was pretty great in that.
I think I have one more negative, but it's minor.
Okay.
The way the team died.
Yep.
By the way, no sequel.
Yep, everybody dies.
They're all dead.
They did say that in A New Hope.
Pretty much.
Everybody died getting this.
Yeah.
So you kind of knew it was coming, but I didn't like how they did it either.
No.
How'd they do it?
I'm going to start telling you what I did like about that. I liked the way Donnie Yen went out.
Yes.
I loved Malbus. Malbus had the best death scene out of the whole crew, I think, because he just like, I don't give a shit.
Because Donnie died.
And he's
right
like,
before that.
and he just is like, this is my last stand. I'm going out.
He was done.
He was done.
Like, that's it. I'm done. Bye.
And then the pilot kind of went out like a chump.
He didn't have a choice.
Yeah, he was just like, he saw a grenade and he's like, fuck.
He's like, oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
But he set a signal, which was his whole objective.
I thought Andor, when he got shot for something, like, there's no way he's dead.
Yep.
No way. You're not going to kill off the second most important character in this
I thought that was weak. I thought that whole thing was weak because I saw him laying there. I'm like, well, guess who's going to come save the day?
Yeah.
And, of course, he comes and saves the day. I'm like, whatever.
I just... that and... Okay, back to, like, the negative side here. Jin and Krennic, who supposedly have this long history, don't fight.
He points a blaster out and then he gets
that's
shot. And then he gets shot and then it's all done.
That's it. You don't get anything. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
And they also didn't kill Krennic right there when he got shot because Krennic needed to look up and see the big blast coming at his face. Yeah. That I thought was kind of lame. He should have just been dead.
Here's the final part of this. I did not like whatsoever how they killed Jin and Andor. I thought that was the biggest bullshit of the entire movie. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yep. I can deal with the 20 minutes of bullshit at the beginning. Like, that was bad.
But you made me sit here and they're going to die just from the Death Star. I get it. It's symbolic.
Yeah.
Her dad made it.
He kills
for the most part, and in some ways, he kills her. It's the symbolic thing, but I would
after she gets him killed,
much rather have seen Darth Vader kill them.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. For.
I was hoping. Oh, come on, he's going to show up. He's going to show up. I know he is. I'm waiting for him to pop through the door, but he's not.
I wanted them to board a ship, him capture the ship with a tractor beam, and then kill them.
And then
that would have been awesome.
Make it an epic fight. Yes. And then I would have been fantastic.
Like with her trying to shoot him with the blaster and him.
And then she says one thing to him about like something, and then he kills her.
Like, oh, don't worry, we've already got the, your plan's foiled. They already know how to beat it.
And that's what I really disagreed about the movie. I think you could have made Darth Vader. You had the greatest cinematic villain of all time, and you only used him for 2 to 3 scenes.
3, yeah.
That was it.
That's it.
And I'm like, you had...
I love how they use him in that first scene, though.
The first scene, and I'm like, because you don't really get to see that.
You've never seen that. Empire Strikes Back, they show him without the helmet on.
For like
5 seconds.
Half a second, yeah. And
then
when he gets burned on Mustafar by Obi-Wan. But
that doesn't count.
Because he's not technically the cybernetic Vader yet.
Yeah.
But James Earl Jones, we have to talk about James Earl Jones.
So good.
He did sound a little old.
Yeah.
But just the fact that he's just...
I'm so glad they got him back.
So did you love this quip? The quip that he says?
Oh, which one?
I hope you don't choke on that. I'm like, there's people don't like that.
He made it funny.
Can you believe that? There's people don't like that.
You know why it makes sense? Is because he's still kind of Anakin Skywalker at that point, if you think about it. And Anakin kind of was like a snarky asshole. So it makes sense that he would make quips at that point. Because I think the fact when the Rebels got the Death Star plans, he went full, like, asshole mode on people. Like, when you see him in the New Hope, he's done bullshitting with people. He's done with the rebels. He's like, I'm going to kill all of you.
Yeah.
And at this point, before they actually steal Death Star plans, he still has a little bit of jokey humor, and which I didn't expect. I haven't seen the Rebels show. I am guessing that in the Rebels TV show, he also has a little bit of that jokey humor.
That fight he has with Ahsoka.
I need to watch that.
It's fantastic.
I just need to go buy the Blu-rays for that and just watch it.
I'm going to go buy the first 2 seasons and just binge it.
We need
the whole thing.
We should do that.
We need to binge it.
I invited myself over to watch that with you. I really want to watch that.
I loved Clone Wars up until the point where you can tell they changed writers.
Yeah.
Around season... what was it? 4?
Yeah, that's what I heard. It was season 4.
It was like the end of season 4 where they changed writers and the show became a piece of shit after that. And they completely just went ass backwards.
Thankfully, this is not Clone Wars.
No.
This is much better.
No.
And this has K2SO in it, who I think is amazing. Yeah. He makes so many funny jokes right from the beginning.
Did you? In the Rogue One?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved him.
He's so good. I love the joke.
He was the only person I was sad that he died.
Yeah,
that's the only person. Other than that, I did not. No,
Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen.
We have to be sad about that
because he went out
with a bang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally.
I don't want to spoil too much about that. I mean, obviously we're doing spoilers, but that moment really shook me. That made me sad. Yeah. I really felt sadness when the life left him. I'm like, oh, come on. And what he says to him, I was just like, great. And then obviously his friend goes crazy after that.
Malchus, yeah, he goes nuts.
The K2SO, I'll just call him K2 because that's what he calls himself. There's a part in the movie where he makes a joke. It's later on, right before they go on the suicide mission, which this is a side note, reminds of Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we like this so fucking much. It's literally Mass Effect 2, the movie. Amazing. All right. So he makes a joke where he says, "Oh, I'm coming too. Andor made me." And I'm like, yes! Because he doesn't even want to do it. He's just like, yeah, I'm coming too. But it's not my choice. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Because he's been, like, bashing Jyn, like, from the second they met and just making fun of her.
As soon as she gives him that rifle, he's dying.
Yeah, when she gave him the blaster. Because all he wanted was blaster. Yeah, he's like, why did she get a blaster?
Yeah.
And Andor was, wait, what?
Yeah.
That was a good part.
Can we talk about Andor's hair?
Because
they made his hair look identical to Han Solo's on completely purpose. They did that.
When he got in the seat for the first time, I'm like, "Hi, Han Solo." That's my first thought because him and Chewie. I was like, "It's him and Chewie."
Did that on purpose. I'm
of course they did. It's that whole thing of like repetition. You know what I mean? Like Star Wars is really famous for it. Yeah, they do, and I think Star Wars is famous for it, and they're famous for it, and also infamous for it, because people get so. I would think people would get frustrated with the fact that they repeat shit so much in Star Wars. It's like, come on, this is another Han Solo, another Chewie. Like they have these almost reoccurring characters, even though they have different names, different faces. They play the same role, and I think. I understand, like, people could get frustrated with that.
Yeah.
But, like, the way this movie does it, who cares because they die. They die anyway. They die in the end. But I liked it. I didn't mind that.
Do you want to talk about the cameos now?
There's
a ton of cameos.
There's a bunch. I really like that big white Wookiee looking thing.
Yep.
All right. It was in the movie for maybe 15 seconds. I'm like, I want a toy of that. I really do. Like, that thing looks awesome.
So what did you think of the Mos Eisley bar guys?
Yeah.
Bumping. I'm like, dude, you're going to die in about a week.
I thought I was crazy for thinking that. I'm like, isn't that the same dude?
Yeah, the
like,
same guys.
It is.
I'm like, well, they're going to die in about 3 days. Or he is anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, they're going to be at Mos Eisley and die. Yeah. Sorry.
And I loved Bail Organa. Loved seeing Bail Organa.
Because
he talks about Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
he goes
because he references Obi-Wan right before he leaves,
and then he goes to Alderaan.
He goes boom,
and he dies. Spoiler. I loved
really
seeing Mon Mothma. Yeah, that was cool seeing
that
her.
Actress did a phenomenal job.
She was great.
She looks just like her.
So my question would be, was that supposed to be Admiral Akbar?
No.
That wasn't supposed
to. He had a different name.
Even though that he died, and I thought...
They specifically said he had a different name. He was an admiral, But
yeah, but that my question was, would have that been Admiral Akbar had not the actor passed away last year?
No, because he died.
Yeah.
Like, the character dies.
Yeah.
Because they disable the ship
Yeah,
and
because
then
then
boom.
Darth Vader's Star Destroyer runs right into it.
Yep. So, no, that would not be Akbar, but...
That was awesome, seeing that Star Destroyer
I think
run into
Akbar
the other
takes
Star
over for
Destroyer.
that guy.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive that's how the chain of command works.
Admiral Akbar, yeah.
The Mon Calamari, which is the race that the Akbar
what did you think about
over.
them inserting archival footage for the pilots?
What do you mean? Archival footage for the pirates?
The pilots.
Oh, you mean like when they're flying in the X-Wings
They're
and
clearly
Y-Wings?
not new footage. It's old New Hope, and
I didn't even notice.
I kind of like that.
I was still kind of like sitting on the edge of my seat, like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, I
because it's
like
done
seeing
so well.
that because they're giving those old characters more screen time, more importance than they ever had before.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
that just slipped my
if
mind.
You go back and watch it. They're there.
Okay, I'm
I'm
cool with that, and I thought the actors that played as the pilots did great.
Yeah.
And they sold it to me like, oh, I'm going down, and I'm like, dude, this dude's gonna die, and like I thought they did great.
We're at the 21-minute mark.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, we're only 21 minutes.
I liked my quips about it. I pretty much have said them.
Okay. Anything else?
I thought the film could have used more Darth Vader. I think you.
Yes.
I think you. Here's my thing, and I'm not discrediting Ben Mendelsohn at all. I think he's a great actor. I just think he got put in a shitty position. I think he even knows that by this point. You shouldn't have even used Krennic. You should have just used Darth Vader.
Yes.
And then you would have been fine.
That would have been so much better.
And you would have gotten that fight we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Not that they would have put up much of a fight, but it would have been more meaningful than them just getting obliterated.
All right, good.
I liked Galen Erso dying. I thought that was a good... I love the rain. Oh my god, that was a beautiful set piece there.
That's a good positive to note is the sets in this movie are bar none. They were phenomenal sets, especially on Scarif, on the beaches and stuff with the AT-ATs and everything, or the ACTs. That was awesome.
Can I have a fanboy nitpick?
Dude, go for it.
Didn't the Rebels uniforms look like World War II uniforms?
Yes.
And I'm like, this is supposed to be the rebellion. Where's the orange and the white and everything?
They did have orange jumpsuits.
Yeah.
I will say that some.
But I'm like, the helmets were like...
But you gotta think, this was the battle that started the war. There were skirmishes before this. This is the battle that really united them and said, we have to take this thing down. So I don't think they had like specific uniforms yet.
All right.
Did you notice that in the council? Mm-hmm. Everyone was just wearing whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, because this was still 20 years after after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Leading into New Hope. I think you could have gotten away with a Palpatine cameo.
Yeah.
I think that was missing. I felt that I was kind of looking for it. Because I'm just like, oh, that'd be cool to have him in here.
Yeah, where the hell... They mentioned him.
They mentioned the Emperor. I wish he could...
That's all they
say. It's so easy that Darth Vader could have just talked to him on even through a vid like Empire, I think he could have.
Why not just have their backs turned and looking at the Death Star?
Well, they did that in Revenge of the Sith.
They could have done it again, though. I would have been okay with that.
Did you think for a second Peter Cushing was going to turn around? The CGI Cushing.
Yeah.
Did you actually think he was going to turn around? And show
his face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, no way. They're not going to... I'm like, he turns around, I'm like, what the fuck?
Or like they would show it like
that blew my mind when I saw that. Just completely floored me.
I think if they wanted to save money and not CGI his face, they could have shown the camera from the front of him looking back, like right by his shoulder.
What's cool about it,
but I loved it.
For all you really into Star Wars lore and the history of the films, is Peter Cushing didn't like the shoes in New Hope. So he wore slippers, and then I find it funny they actually show a shot at his boots in this.
Yep.
Because they never show on A New Hope because he hated the boots. He wore slippers. Every scene he's in, he said he wore his slippers the entire
Which is awesome.
movie. All right.
I love that it was not a love story.
What?
Until the end. I will say that. Because it wasn't.
He died in the friend zone, man.
Yeah, he did die in the friend zone.
He's the only guy to just actually die in the friend zone.
In Star Wars.
He fucking died in the... I'm expecting her to kiss him.
Yeah!
And I'm like, he just dies.
I'm like, they're gonna kiss. Nope, they're dead. That
dude died hopeless and alone. He died.
They had like that good like chemistry, like when they give each other a look as they're walking by.
I don't think they gave them enough of that. I don't think they did enough with them.
I think it was like
two
scenes.
Should have done more of that.
There were like 2 of those like throughout the whole movie.
I think they should have done more with their relationship. I think they really could have made that meaningful. It would have made me. I didn't care for Jen too much.
Nah,
she was okay.
You could insert like any actress in their 20s and it would have been fine.
She's good. Do you
think it was the script that they gave her? Maybe it wasn't even her fault.
She's a good actress.
That's my point.
And I think
Daisy would have done well in that role anyway.
Yeah.
You could have switched those 2. I wouldn't even notice.
No.
And that's not a dig on them. That's just how I feel. I think it's just a weak script for them. Because they made you want to care about her, and it was just like, I like this droid better.
I didn't care about her.
I like the droid better.
About him or her.
Yeah. I thought he was a dickhole until the end.
Yeah, because he kills that guy in the beginning. I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm like, this guy's an asshole. Why do I like him?
I mean, he's not a good guy.
No.
I did like seeing the stormtroopers. They were funny.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they finally shot somebody 35 years later. They finally fucking hit something. They finally shot something.
They finally hit K2 a couple times in the shoulders.
They do talk about Obi-Wan, which is awesome. I can't even say enough how much I love that. As we're getting into the closing minutes of our podcast here, what did this movie leave you wanting more from?
A Darth Vader spinoff. I want a Darth Vader only movie.
Want that.
Like before this, I want him mowing down everything. I want him going throughout the galaxy, tracking down the Jedi and murdering them.
So, do you think
that sounds terrible.
Do you think realistically they could do this?
Yes.
Even with James Earl Jones, it's not his favorite job in the world. Clearly, it's taken a lot to get him back in the chair.
From what I've heard in interviews, like he's okay doing it.
He's been more open to doing it now.
Yes, like
than
now.
He ever was before. Because for years he talked about like, screw that. I don't want to do it.
Like he appreciates
it was almost to an people liking type it. Well, now he seems to. I mean, he's 85 years old. He's got to think. Older. This is also my legacy that I leave behind. I got to give it its love. I got to do it.
I want a Darth Vader spinoff so bad now.
I'd say you do it.
Do it now.
Do it with the guy while he's still here.
Honestly, Han Solo movie and Lando Calrissian movie are stupid. Do Darth Vader. Screw those 2 movies and do a Darth Vader movie.
Do Darth Vader and do an Obi-Wan prequel.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
And that's where that's
like him running from the Empire, right?
And this intersects perfectly. And that is why I placed Rogue One where I placed it.
Okay.
Is because I myself, and this doesn't mean I don't like the movie. This is not no thing.
You definitely like it.
I love the light side, dark side, Jedi, Sith.
Yeah, this didn't have that.
No, it didn't, and that's why it falls to number one.
It's just that everybody dies movie.
And if you like the wars without the Jedi,
that was an amazing space battle above Scarif.
The space battle. I love space battle. But like, if you like that, this movie's for you.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much as Nathan because he loved it. But I just like that stuff better, and I think that's what this movie was clearly missing.
It depends on what you're looking for in the movie. Yeah. It really does. If you want like good battles and space battles and pew pew fights, it's awesome.
I'd put it much higher if the Darth Vader had more scenes.
Yep. Oh, I completely agree.
And he just didn't. I don't think, and that's the thing that really just hurts it the most. In my thing is you didn't use him enough.
Yep. Oh,
I didn't use him enough. You had him. You had James Earl Jones in the room.
You got him to do it,
and you have him do one. He doesn't talk after that.
You're right.
Doesn't talk. Doesn't talk at all.
Yeah, he talks in like one scene. And
that's what makes me think he wouldn't do a movie.
Yep.
Because I think I don't know if he would want to do it.
Well, here's the thing. What if they did a movie, but he didn't have to talk a whole lot?
I don't know.
Because Darth Vader doesn't. He's one of those villains that doesn't need to talk.
He doesn't need to say much, but he does need to talk at some integral points.
Yeah.
And I don't know if James Earl Jones.
I mean, he could give out like 1 or 2 lines and then fight a Jedi.
And then after that, say one little quip.
Yeah.
Here and there.
Yeah.
You could get it done in a day.
Yep.
Less than a day with him.
Oh yeah.
How good those old style actors really are.
You give them 8 hours, boom, done. Crank it out, they're
less
done.
than that. Holy crap. But what was leaving more for me was, and I'm tired of prequels.
Yes.
I'm tired.
Oh, prepare for more.
And not to say that the Darth Vader, and this is separate from the Darth Vader movie we want and the Obi-Wan movie we want, because those characters I feel still have some left to tell.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what Han Solo did when he was 24 years old. I don't care at all. I don't care.
I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
I don't care about Lando.
Oh, Lando, I really don't care about.
I don't care about him. I think both of those characters are great in an ensemble, cast.
Yeah.
But if it's just focused on them, I think that's where you're going to really see Disney destroy the brand.
Han would be better with Chewie. What if it was like a Han and Chewie episode?
If you had Harrison Ford, yeah, I'd watch it.
Okay.
And that's what the thing is. There's going to be an entire
Why not get Nathan Fillion?
I think he would have been much better.
Yeah.
I think he would have.
That's my point. They should have got Nathan Fillion.
Unknown kid
he said he'd do it.
Yeah, he said
he clearly said it to the press, like, I will do the Star Wars movie.
Young enough where he would fit. What if you did it right before A New Hope? What if it takes place 5 to 10 years before A New Hope?
Better yet, do it after Return of the Jedi.
Then, here's how you do this.
What about that?
Here's how you do this. How old do you think he was?
He was in his 30s in those movies.
No, when Palpatine seized power and became Darth Sidious.
He would have been like...
Revenge of the Sith. That's how old would he be? Like 15?
He would have been like 15, 16.
Begin the movie look as him as a teenage boy looking at them slaughtering the Jedi, and that's why he maybe doesn't believe in the Jedi.
Because they all die.
That's how you do this movie.
Yeah.
Listen to us.
Yeah.
Listen to the fans. Listen to what these writers. They don't care.
No, that's Hollywood.
I agree with Force Awakens. Force Awakens is a love letter to the fans, to the franchise and everything. And it clearly you can see a bunch of fan service in it. But I'm saying with these prequels, you need to listen to the fans and give them if you're going to do a Han Solo movie, and if you're hell-bent on it, do it right. If you're going to do it the right way. Yeah. Don't get some unknown kid that nobody cares one iota about.
Yeah.
Get Nathan Fillion, who has a history of playing that type of role.
Like the swashbuckling space pirate.
And I'm going to get off topic here for just a second.
Oh, boy.
I think he's literally born to play Nathan Drake.
Yes.
I think he's literally came out of the womb to play the role. It's like Robert Downey Jr. and Tony Stark, and I think Nathan Fillion was born to literally play Nathan Drake. He looks like him, talks like him,
and Han Solo.
Like him.
He would be a very good Han Solo.
And I just don't understand. And Nathan Fillion's like, hey, I want to do it. I want the job. And then nobody fucking pays attention to him.
Dude, he's such a good actor. He was amazing in Firefly.
I know.
I don't get it. He did so good in that.
It's sitting on my shelf.
It's such a good series.
And then it ends it with Serenity, right?
Yep. Serenity is the follow-up to that. But that's a little bit off topic. But honestly,
bottom line,
if they're gonna do a Han movie, either like you said, do it then, or do it after Return of the Jedi, with him and Leia, and show why they didn't work out. They never talk about that. It's just like, they didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a reason. At least show the fans why, and maybe they had like some sort of like, disagreement about how to raise the kids, and he didn't want them going to Jedi camp, right, with Luke.
Well, I think the idea was that they were so stricken
different.
And so saddened that he just killed everybody at that temple, and then Luke blamed himself for it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why they differed. I think that was the whole reason why they differed. But just dipping into that, you have so many stories to tell. Why focus on Han Solo?
Focus on a good character. It's not that Han isn't, but
he doesn't have a whole lot of lore.
No.
There's not a whole interest.
Maybe that's why they're doing it.
Maybe so.
Well, let's get back on topic. I think this was a great movie.
I think it was fantastic.
Definitely go see it.
I like it. What I said during this podcast doesn't mean exactly I hate it.
Right.
It just wasn't completely what I wanted. And I have to believe in my heart of hearts that they're saving all this Darth Vader shit for a Darth Vader movie somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
Because it was talked about at one point at the very, very, very beginning when Disney bought LucasArts that they were going to do it. But
and they still haven't.
They're clearly saving it for something. Clearly, but it's not coming till next decade at least. Their schedule is legitimately booked.
I'd say like 2023, something like that.
You're not going to see it, sadly,
when I'm in my 30s.
Then. Yeah. We're not going to see a Darth Vader movie for that.
Yeah, we'll definitely be in our 30s by then, which is kind of sad.
Which is really sad.
But whatever, we can pass it on to our kids.
Yeah. I just feel that I don't want to wait too long. I'm impatient. I'm an impatient person as it is.
Well, we got the Lando and Han Solo movie coming up. We have episode 8, which looks awesome.
I'm going to go in with open arms with this Han Solo movie. I'm going to try to like it because it's a Star Wars movie. You have to try. I'm going to try. I'm going to at least try. I'm going to try to go in with an open mind. And who the hell knows? Maybe it might.
Maybe it blows our socks off.
Maybe it blows our minds. I hope it does. I really do, but I don't have a
Can I tell you something? Lando movie's not. That I don't give a crap about.
Nobody's going to go see that.
I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and that's coming from a huge Star Wars fan saying, I don't even care about that character. I saw enough.
Can we use this last maybe 5-10 minutes to talk about 8? We need to talk about 8.
Yeah, let's talk about 8 real quick.
I can't wait for 8. Oh, man.
Okay.
It's probably more anticipated than 7 to a degree. Almost.
Yeah.
Because it's like 7 leaves you with a lot more questions and answers. And that's what you always want to do.
That's what made people mad. Is it didn't answer anything, just left more questions.
But that's what gets interest. That's what gets people to go out.
Yeah, it gets the hype train rolling. Woo,
and here's the thing, though. Your 8, I fear, is not going to have the wow factor 7 had because people. It was the first sequel in like what 30 years.
That's a very long time, yeah.
And people were like, kids. There's a whole generation of people that weren't born when these movies were made. They never got to go to the theater and see Harrison Ford as Han Solo, Carrie Fisher's Leia, or Mark Hamill's Luke.
They did release them in the 90s.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
But you mean like the original
as a
ones.
new movie?
Yeah.
And I think that's what made people come out, and that's why Force Awakens made $2 billion.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if 8 is going to be that. Because Force Awakens was such a big deal, dude. I went and bought my ticket.
You pre-bought
October
them,
25th.
Yeah, see?
October 25th.
Yep.
I went over there right in the middle of a thunderstorm, bought them.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm not taking any chances.
8's coming out next year, right?
Yeah. A year from now, basically.
Like December next year. Okay.
I
can't
but here's the one bullet they got left. Mark Hamill.
What do you mean?
Because we haven't seen him do anything yet.
Yeah, he already said in a fan Q&A he's going to be doing lightsaber combat in the new one. A lot of
shit. Yeah, he's doing a lot.
He will actually have to be physically active. Which is why he was mad for 7 because they made him get in shape and he said, "That's all you want me to do is just turn around and look at her? Really?"
He was
not happy.
He did let out after that. It was probably like what 6, 7, 8 months after the movie came out. And he said. He said I hated that.
Yep.
I didn't like that. They made me get on all this shape and everything just for one scene for turn around and look at her.
Yeah, he was not happy. That's one of the only people you don't want to make mad for Star Wars.
I still think Luke is the most powerful in the universe. I still think he is.
I think Snoke rivals him.
Snoke and him are probably almost equal to a point. I think they are equal.
Because I think we should do a whole podcast.
Kylo Ren. I think you're going to see Snoke in combat in 8. I think you're going to see him in combat.
I think they'll save that for 9, personally.
Because they want to see Rey fight him.
Yep. We should do a whole podcast on our theories for 8.
Here's the thing. I think they're going to do the same formula they did with Harry Potter.
Okay.
Where throw all out how many movies are there? 8.
Harry Potter 8.
At some
point,
don't
do a part 1, part 2.
No, at some point, Harry has to become powerful. He has to become able to defend himself and defeat his enemies on his own. So that's why they kill everybody. They
Yep.
kill Sirius Black. They kill Dumbledore, which, God, I literally cried.
I think I know where you're going with this.
I literally cried when they killed Dumbledore.
That was sad.
I was upset, literally. How old was I? 2009? I was 14, I think.
I would have cried too if I was 14.
I was literally, I wasn't bawling, but I like had tears run down. I was like, this sucks, man. I was like, but then they kill Snape, even to the point where that was his last guardian dying.
That was sad.
Snape's death was that he should.
It's a tragic.
He
death.
should have won for that movie.
Yep.
He gave a once in a lifetime performance. He should have got that. But it's going to happen the same thing. Take it the same grain of salt. Everybody's going to die. Luke dies in 8. Mark my words, he dies because that's the lowest point. The sequels, the second movie is always darker. In each series, it always
Rey is going to turn to the dark side temporarily.
Temporarily, I do think, because at the end of Empire, remember, Vader talks to Luke telepathically, and he kind of loses it for a minute until they pull away.
Yep.
And that's what made Empire so just masterfully, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that. I watched it 2 weeks ago on my TV. I'm like, this is still one of the best movies I've ever seen.
It's an amazing movie.
By the way, we need to do a Lord of the Rings podcast.
We need to do that too. we have a bunch of podcasts I think we're going to have to come out with.
We're going to plan. But just to end our talk on 8, I do think Luke dies in 8 because
I think Kylo kills him.
Because who else could give that low point? Who else
dying.
could? I'm not going to care if Carrie Fisher dies.
No.
That's why I think she dies of old age.
I think so too.
9, or she doesn't die at all.
Yep.
That's the thing. It would probably make more sense for her not to die because then she could be the new leader or something.
Yep.
I think that's what she's going to become.
Like the Mon Mothma character.
She's going to become that, an elder statesman, which would be great. It'd be great to service her character just because I don't think people, and this is not a knock on Carrie Fisher, I'm just saying her character is not as interesting as Han or Luke's.
Because they took out the original expanded universe.
Yeah.
Which really fleshed her out.
Leia, oh my God. If you read the expanded universe, Leia is a badass.
She's a Jedi.
Shit.
She has a lightsaber.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest letdown with her at Force Awakens. I'm like, are you kidding me? She's not a Jedi?
Anything.
You have you're the daughter of Anakin Skywalker.
And you do nothing.
And you do nothing. You're a general. Fuck you.
You're useless.
But yeah, I think Luke dies in 9 or 8. And that's going to be the low point.
Yeah.
And then Rey sees that. Oh. What if Rey turns to the dark side and kills Luke?
No.
She comes, and that's what snaps her out. She's just she loses her mind, and then I wouldn't like that.
No.
I don't like that.
I honestly think Kylo kills him because Kylo's mad at her and says, what can I do to get back at her? I can kill Luke.
So here's how I'm going to disagree with that. I think Snoke kills him.
Okay, I can see that too.
You have to hate Snoke.
Yep.
Because look what Palpatine did to get people to hate him. Oh my God!
Or what if Snoke is there and tells Kylo to kill him, and then Kylo kills him?
I hated the shit out of Palpatine.
Yeah.
After the prequel trilogy, I'm like, you fucker! I love that you die in the worst fucking way.
Yeah.
Getting thrown down a fucking missile silo.
That was pretty great.
And then he just explodes.
I love that he explodes.
But I do think Luke does die in 8. But I think Mark Hamill is going. If his performance has to be good for that movie to be better in Force Awakens, it has to be better.
I think 8's gonna be better.
8's gonna be better.
Which obviously none of this has anything to do with Rogue One. Well, it does because that's the next one coming out. So that's how we can tie this all together.
But yeah,
that's our thoughts.
Yep, Rogue One.
It's very good. It's a little weak in the beginning. Please just stick with it. The first 20 minutes are very dry. It's almost, I would even say, boring to some extent, just because you're not invested in the characters yet, and you're like, what?
I honestly cared more when they were showing the Empire.
Yeah, I did
care
too.
About we didn't touch on this guy.
What?
We'll touch on him for just a second here. Saul Guerra.
Oh yeah.
Didn't give a shit about him.
Oh yeah, Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, I didn't care at all.
I thought he was a Jedi in the Clone Wars, but he ends up not being a fucking Jedi, and then I'm like, okay, well, I don't.
He's just an extremist.
Yeah.
His character is so weak that we forgot to even talk about Forrest Whitaker in the movie.
And here's the sad part: he's the best known actor in the movie. He's the one that you would know. You don't. I didn't know any of those.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, Donnie Yen I've heard of, but not on the level of Forrest Whitaker.
You're right. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, really? You got Forrest Whitaker, and you gave him this shitty role?
I didn't like him at all.
You could have used him so much better.
I think, you know what? I think that's my last negative is Forrest Whitaker in the whole movie in general.
I did not give one iota about him. I thought Mads Mikkelsen was awesome in that entire movie. I think he should have been in it longer.
Yeah.
I think he almost steals the show and if it wasn't for Donnie Yen, I would have picked him as like the guy. I was like, man, his acting is just so good.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. It's a great movie. You guys need to see it. I loved that they used the Death Star to blow up that city.
Yeah, that was cool. It was like test runs of it. Which the only thing I disagree with is that they make it seem like Alderaan in A New Hope is the first time they've ever used it. Like, we have to show them our power, but in this one they clearly show them using their power before that.
Yeah, but that's always going to be the problem, dude, with them making the movies 35 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
That's always going to be the challenge.
Yeah.
But if so far...
It's good. It was a great movie, I thought.
All the movies after the original trilogy, they've at least given it great effort to work around. Even the prequels,
to like tie that stuff in.
Yeah, whatever you say about the prequels, they did at least, they gave a great effort with all of the movies after that, just to work around the limitations and everything else with that time.
We
period.
did forget a cameo. C-3PO and R2!
Oh, yeah.
How could you forget? They're in it!
They're in it for
and I'm like, oh, it's C-3PO! Like, I don't even like C-3PO. Even I was like, yeah, they're in it! And
I love
it made
R2,
sense. Though. It made sense how they were in it. They're like, oh, we're always getting left behind. I'm like, haha, yeah, you are.
You know, some people didn't like that. They're like, oh, they're putting him in there just because they're fucking... Yeah. I'm
of course they are.
They're as iconic as Darth Vader.
Yeah,
they
right
need to be in everything, I think.
It's very unfortunate that it was not Kenny Baker in R2. I will say that. Rip Kenny Baker.
Passed away, unfortunately, earlier this year.
But
yeah, I loved seeing them in it.
That was cool. That was very cool. Me personally,
I'm like, they're so cool. I think those characters are the ultimate exempt from death. They should never die.
I don't think they ever will.
Keep them forever. Yeah, I love BB-8. I love BB-8.
Yeah,
he's
just
too. Awesome. But just R2's classic. He's just, you can never kill him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And what if they kill him at 9?
If they kill him at 9, I'll fucking cry. I'll fucking cry worse if they kill him.
I'd cry for Luke more. I'm sorry.
No, I'd cry more for R2-D2. I wouldn't even cry if Chewie died. Yeah, I wouldn't cry as much because I'm like, if they kill R2-D2, I'm like, I'm crying over a fucking machine that just got cut to pieces.
I wanted to cry over K2. I wanted to cry over him, but
he was awesome.
He was very cool.
I cried. I cried once during a Star Wars movie. Now what? This will finish up until 50 minutes. But when did I? Oh yeah, I remember. It was one of the prequel movies.
Oh, ew. Of all the movies.
It was when Qui-Gon Jinn died.
Oh, yep.
I cried a little bit, but I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
And then I
haven't grown up
that
much.
Cried when I think I was, how old was I when Revenge of the Sith? That was 2005.
11 years ago.
I was 11.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. What scared me was Palpatine's face changing.
Yeah,
that scared the shit out of me. And then Anakin chops off Mace Windu. It like scarred me forever after that, because that's why I won't watch that movie, because that scared the shit out of me. It's like a horror movie. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
And then I kind of cried when Obi-Wan kind of almost kills Anakin.
Yeah,
but I'm rooting for Obi-Wan. But it's just kind of sad because I loved Anakin Skywalker so much.
Yeah.
My brother, I mean, he's probably the biggest Hayden Christensen fan of Anakin Skywalker. He loves...
No comment.
He'll collect every toy.
Good for him. I'm glad somebody likes him.
I'll tell you what, though. The dude had the fucking look.
He did.
He had the look. And I'm not even saying it's his voice. It's just they gave him the shittiest script on the face.
It was George Lucas, because nobody was monitoring the garbage he was putting in.
If I was Hayden Christensen, I'd sue the shit out of George Lucas. Because I'm like, you destroyed my fucking career. And so did Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd's like, you destroyed my fucking career too.
No, Jake Lloyd destroyed his own career by making bad life choices.
Ahmed Best shouldn't be allowed to work anymore.
Yeah, let's not talk about Jake Lloyd.
Anyway, problems.
He's got problems. That's been our podcast on Rogue One. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully we will be able to do a couple more of these. I think we have some topics lined up. Lord of the Rings, Nathan Drake. We have one that was that Nathan Drake versus who else?
No, I was saying Nathan Fillion could fill out the role.
No, we talked the other day. Nathan Drake versus Joel from Last of Us. Who would win? That might be a mini pod.
That's a good
like a 20-minute discussion.
I'm gonna get heated in that.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna start throwing fists in that one.
Right. All right.
But yeah, that was a great movie that we saw.
Hopefully you guys like our podcast.
Yeah, let us know in the comments and stuff. Yeah. Email us, officialgoldenedgegamers@gmail.com. Feel free to send us email, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much, and hope you enjoy the movie as well. Bye.
See ya.